Hi everyone, Stephanie here again. So in this session, we're just going to look very quickly at some of the deferred billing options which we have within our Oracle Cloud. Hopefully this solution will be able to help you with some queries which you had shown to us. So I'm going to pop straight into our billing area. Okay, I'm going to try and show you a full end-to-end solution. And so we're going to start by creating a transaction. So we'll come in to create transaction within our billing. In here, you see you have many different areas which we can fill out. In this case, I'm going to look for creating an invoice. You can also create a credit memo or debit memo. I'm going to do it within our US business unit. It's going to be a manual transaction. You do have many other options for the different types of transactions which you want to create. And my transaction type again is invoice. My transaction date and accounting date are both today's date. And within our invoicing rules section, we have an option here between in advance or in arrears. Okay, these are, you can see, are not marked with an asterisk, so it's not a required field. However, if you do want to use your revenue scheduling tool, this is where you will activate that. Okay, you will see in our line items down below here, where we'll fill in our details, the rules section currently is not available for selection. Okay, in here, however, if I select in advance, you can see that my rules section now becomes activated. Okay, if you wanted to add an attachment or a note, you can do it also at this stage. For now, I'm going to select Business Solutions as my customer. You can see here that all the different areas come up predefined. Our payment terms in this case are not predefined. It's just the way the customer is set up. If I was to use someone else, perhaps like Easy Solutions, you can see that their payment terms will come in here automatically. Okay. So for now, I'll just use Business World again. Okay, and I can leave the payment terms the way they are. Coming down here within our memo line, here you have many, again, predefined areas. If, for example, you were to select something like this, which is your 1-year support agreement, we'll come in here. You can see your rule is actually automatically populated then. And you can see as it is 1 year, you can see whatever we select, it will be spread over the 12-year period of 12 periods. Okay, so let's just, we can leave that one for now and you can pop in here. And I can change it to something like a facility agreement. And here, there is no rule created. So we'll manually create something. So if we just say a quantity of 5,000, and here we can select the rule which we want to use. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to use a rule for 3 months fixed non-deferred. So select that there. Okay. And now at this stage, you can see there are many other fields that we could fill out, such as our tax, our freight, etc. However, for this demo, I'm just going to keep it high level. We can go save, okay? And then this will bring us up our little actions button. In here, we can view the distribution or edit a distribution if needs be, okay? So here we can see exactly where our debits and credits are going and the different percentages. So we can see here, everything is all created into the different distributions. If we did at this stage want to change anything, we do have the ability to do that there. You can see your percentages at this stage is all 100, as we have not run our revenue scheduling tool yet, so nothing has been spread. Okay, just cancel that. We can also at this stage come in, so complete and review, and that will allow us to see the invoice which has been created. So if we come in and we do view image, I am working in a demo environment right now, so the invoice which will come up will be for Vision, which is our demo customer or a demo environment. So in here we have Vision, we have our bill to being Business World, and we have our details down here. Okay, so that can be reviewed and checked at this point also before hitting save and close. Okay, so our next stage after this is to come in and look at our actual revenue stage. Okay, so we're going to come back home and now we're going to come into our revenue tile. Within revenue, we'll come back over again to our little task tool. All the layouts are all the same for every task. So we're going to come in here. And this stage here, we're going to look within our revenue management section. Okay, we have 2 parts here. We have manage revenue adjustments and recognize revenue. For now, we're going to go into our recognize revenue. As we had said previously, we have to run our schedule to make sure our revenue can be spread correctly, depending on the rules which we had selected. Okay, so here I'm doing business, US business unit. I will submit. Okay, and confirm. That's fine. So now, just like with any schedule or any process which we run, I'll just pop into my schedule processes and just make sure it's running just by clicking refresh. So I'll just hit refresh here and you should see it coming up now in a moment. So now here you have all our status going wait. If we just hit refresh again, this will again now change to complete. So you can see that everything now has actually went through and is all there. So now we're into our succeeded and we should just be done then. Okay, so I'll just give that another moment just to make sure everything is completed. Now you can see we're at the stage where we have everything all fully completed. So we're able to come back home now and back into our revenue area. So from here, we can come back into our first section, which is the Manage Revenue Adjustments. And now we're just going to do a quick search on today's date. You could, if you wanted to run this monthly, you could do it for between dates. It's totally up to you. But for now, I'm just going to search for today's date. You'll see that a couple of different areas have went through today. But we'll come down and we'll look at our most recent one here. So we can see this being, so you can tell this by our transaction number coming all the way down that this is our most recent. We know that we raised it within Business World. And we can see that we now have a scheduled amount of 250,000. If we had not completed the step previously, both our scheduled and unscheduled areas would be reading as nil, as nothing would have happened. But this has pushed everything into the right place. You can see now within the scheduled, and we're looking at our line distributions down here, exactly the different split. So you'll notice previously our percentage was all at 100. Now that we've ran it, we can see that our split has now split out across 3 months. So in this case, we've decided that it shouldn't be spread evenly. Instead, 50% is going to come in within our June, 30% within July, and the remaining 20% spread in the final period of August. Okay. We can, of course, change this at any stage. If we are looking here and we're saying, I'm not entirely sure, is that correct? Maybe I actually need to use something called a contingency. Okay, so we have two options. If we think it's completely incorrect, we can simply highlight, and this will bring up, you'll see your unscheduled revenue. So we can simply take that out and unschedule it to run through. Okay. However, in some cases, as you can notice up here, which one we've done already, we can create a contingency. So first of all, what we'll do is unschedule, and then I can put in a contingency, such as kind of like an if such a scenario happens, we can then proceed into our scheduled revenue, okay? So if I just unschedule this here first, we'll bring up here, you can see you have an option, and if you want to unschedule the entire amount, if you want to do a percentage, or just a certain amount of the revenue. So that's totally up to you to define what you want to do with it here, okay? You can select a reason, so you can predefine that. For this one, I'll just select the revenue management process. And again, you can add in comments, okay? So for now, I'll just hit submit. And yes. And now you will see this moving from our scheduled line back into my unscheduled line, okay? So I might just need to do a quick refresh on this to get it to move. I'll pop back in. Now, and you can see here, the amount which was previously sitting within my scheduled amount has been moved into my unscheduled column, okay? Meaning that it's up to you to come back. And if you want, you can come back and you can see our schedule has now been brought back up here. So I can come back and reschedule it again. Or what I can do is add in a contingency here, okay? So to add a contingency, I'll come into actions. I can go add revenue contingency, okay? So here again, I have different options as to why I want to use different ones. So in this case, I'm going to go for an explicit acceptance, so meaning that someone needs to explicitly accept that the invoice is correct prior to us doing our revenue recognition. There are many different ones set up here, but obviously again, you can always set up whatever terms you want that link back into your contract. Okay. Adjustment reason, I'll do again the revenue management process. And again, you can add in any comments or notes which you need at this stage. Okay, I hit submit. And yes. Okay. Again, I'll hit done. Quick refresh. I'm back into my task. And now I'll be able to see exactly that. I have my contingency set up. So we'll know that we should not process our revenue or do our deferred revenue scheduling until such time that these contingencies have been met. Okay, that will help you to control your revenue and to put good structure around it. I hope that has been helpful. If you have any other questions around deferred revenue, please do let me know. Or any other questions around AOR in general, and we'll try to get them answered as soon as possible. Thanks very much for your time. Bye now.